It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Hazleton Area School District Report. It's our monthly report informing you what's going on in the greater Hazleton Area School District. Over close to 14,000 students, my friends. A lot of things happening in this school district, one of the largest school districts in the state of Pennsylvania. And I'm glad that you're getting informed of all the things that are available in our school district. I want to thank the great teachers and the aides we have, and everyone's involved with the Hazleton Area School District. They've just been fantastic, very proud. And especially, we have a school board that's active. We have a school board that's paying attention to what's going on, and it's just wonderful to see that. Now, joining me as usual is the superintendent, the main man. He wants me to call him chief now. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. Where we are today is this the Cyber Academy. It's at the Laurel Mall. What is the Cyber Academy?
So basically, it's a place for students that are non-traditional. We'll call them non-traditional, that don't necessarily do well in a classroom or like the classroom. They may have anxiety situations or issues that they don't necessarily deal with well if they're in person. So we've created this to allow those students another place to go online and complete their schoolwork and for them to thrive. We have great students that are involved in the program. It allows for a lot of flexibility for those students as well and their families. So yeah, that's primarily why it's in existence.
Okay, so now, if you're in, what grades, 9 to 12?
No, we're actually K to 12.
K to 12.
Kindergarten to 12th grade.
So how do you know what areas, you're teaching? 6th grade, 7th grade, high school? I mean, who qualifies? Do they have to take a test? Or?
Right. So the teachers that we have that are in those grade levels, K through 12, they would be a normal classroom teacher if they were in person, in a school building. They have to have the same certifications if they were a kindergarten teacher in a cyber program or in person in a brick and mortar school. The same holds true for anyone in high school that's teaching high school, same for middle school. So if their background is in science or we need a science teacher, they have to be certified in science, biology, whatever that is, chemistry, physics, to be able to teach in that area. So the teachers that we have are certified the same way as our brick and mortar teachers.
All right, so if you're in 10th grade, there's a curriculum that you have to have, right? So does the teachers follow that curriculum?
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
Is the student here or at home?
They're at home. Yeah, they're at home. Now, the space that we have here provides them an opportunity or a space for them to come to if they need any assistance tutoring, they need any help with their computer, they're not logging in right, or if they need to sit with the counselor in person. That's what this space is for.
Okay, so we're going to bring Kris Bonomo on, who's the principal here. But okay, why did the school district decide to come to the Laurel Mall and not build their own facility?
Right. So it's very much less of an overhead, if you will, for the district to have something of this magnitude, of this caliber available to us. So there were spaces available. It was a lot cheaper for us to renovate these spaces and lease the space than it would be to build a building that would be a multi-million-dollar facility for students that wouldn't actually be in person. The students that, like we said earlier, the students are at home. They're all provided with a district computer, and they log in at certain times throughout the day for their coursework, the same as they would be moving from class to class in a brick and mortar.
So you're saying it's beneficial for the school district to lease a place up here at the Laurel Mall, okay? Which is much more convenient, I would think.
Correct. Yes, and thank you. That's one piece I didn't hit on, that it's more convenient for the families as well, because there's public transportation that comes here. So if they're in need of that tutoring or in need of the support with their laptops or what have you, public transportation can bring them here. They don't necessarily need to rely on Ubers or taxis.
It's interesting, Brian, because our area is there's a lot of seniors in our area, and for those people who are hip, they know what's going on with the cyber school. But, when you're looking at breaking down the educational system, how does one come up with deciding that we're going to do a cyber, school? Okay, it's Cyber Academy. How do you develop that? I mean, are there tests that are taken, or how does that evolve?
No, so things are evolving, and this is kind of the way that public education is heading, and mainly because of the cyber charters that are out there. And what happens is, if a family decides to go online and we don't provide that service, then we're footing the bill for them to go to a cyber charter school, which could be anywhere from $10,000 for a regular education student to $20,000 for a special education student. They always promote online that, or not online, but on commercials, that it's a free, tuition-free education. It isn't. The taxpayers are footing the bill for those cyber charters that are out there and pulling our kids out of the district. For us to educate a student in our Cyber Academy is $7,900 compared to the $10,000 to $20,000 if they were to go to a cyber
That's
charter
what it costs
school.
the taxpayer.
Correct.
Okay. So now, if a student, what's the average grade that they're coming in here?
Anywhere from kindergarten to 12th.
So if they come in, and I'll ask Kris this as well because he's here. Well, let me hold that question. The thing is that when you're looking at the amount of education, are they getting the education that the average person going to school would get?
Yes. Yeah, if they're using the same curriculum that an in-person student would receive. Everything is the same except for them not being in person, other than through a screen. They're learning digitally rather than in person.
Okay, so there's another factor here. It's called the social skills.
Correct.
Okay, and are they getting the social skills?
They are.
They are.
They are. Yes.
Seriously.
So we have field trips. It operates just like a regular school, regular building. We have field trips. We have times that they'll come out and do art in person here in the mall. There's different programs that we pull them into, different festivities. There's Christmas things that we do. There's movie nights. So yes, there's that social piece that we're grabbing as well.
Then we're going to stray off course a little bit and go into the other areas. When we're looking at close to 14,000 students, okay, what are you projecting? Probably 14,000 next year? Is 13 as well?
We're close. Yeah, we're about 13.2 right now. Every year it certainly increases. So probably to start next year, we might be around 13.5.
Some of the questions that people ask me is the question is that with the influx of students coming in, particularly if they're coming in the middle of the year or and they go into a classroom, does that slow down the other students in the classroom to bring that students who are coming in from wherever up to par?
It depends. It depends on the student. It depends on the background that the student has coming in. Did they come from a Pennsylvania school, or did they come from out of the country or from another school across the United States? It just depends where we're able to put them in curriculum-wise. And if it might take a little bit for them to catch up, it doesn't necessarily slow the classroom down. We just try to speed up that student that's just coming in.
Do you have a lot of that?
We do. We have quite a few students that are coming to us all through the school year. At varying times, like now we're very close to the end of the school year for the 23-24 school year. We're still getting enrollments daily. So it's difficult for them to really catch up to where they should be at this point in the school year, but we do our best. And
yeah, some of the parents, particularly as one couple asked me, is that they feel that their students are doing well, and then what happens when someone, it could be anyone,
Sure.
slows them down a little bit, and do they fit in? That's where I guess the teachers have to see what's going on.
Right, and they have to judge each one of the students that come in.
You don't have a special division for the students that are coming in other words?
No, they're part of the public system just like every other student.
Yeah. How has that been working out, though, so far?
Not too bad. Really hasn't. There are challenges that we encounter with every student that comes in or every student that's always been here. You know, they might have been here kindergarten to whatever grade. There's always challenges with a child.
What are some of the current issues now that the school district is facing?
No space. That's probably the largest situation that we're dealing with right now, is trying to find that additional space. We have special education students that are identified. Those are certain numbers that are only permitted in a classroom at any given time. So we have to look at that. That diminishes the amount of space that we have for regular education students. So for an autistic support classroom, you can only have 8 students in that classroom, but it's an average size classroom that's taken up by 8 students. And that's state, that's not district numbers, that's a state law. So we have to watch those numbers, and we just have to watch the spaces that we're taking away or adding. And at this point, we're kind of full. We've renovated a number of different spaces across the district, but I think it's time that, and so does the board, think it's time that we need to build.
Where do you think you're going to build?
Behind the high school, behind the current high school that's up in on the campus, right behind there.
Oh, yeah, you have enough room to do it?
We do, yeah. We own that land, so we're not purchasing additional land. So there's a savings, and we will definitely put in a road that connects that building to the park behind the school, and that will help alleviate any of the traffic that might be on the campus.
And what grades will be housed there?
It depends. That's a decision that the board will have to make. We had some workshops. We had a workshop available for families to come and listen to what options we have. That there's a survey on our website that they can go on and take. And then in June we'll have another workshop to kind of look at where we're kind of going, and then by the end of June, the board has to make their decision.
Were there any options placed on the table other than building behind the high school?
No, just because we own that property. We'd have to, if we were to build anywhere else, we'd have to purchase property.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's been always a concern, and once again, you know, my friends, you pay school district, you pay your school taxes. For those of you who do not have any children going to school, remember it's the educational factor that I was looking, because sooner or later it affects you. We talked about that before.
Right.
You know, and some people didn't look at it that way, you know, but it benefits everyone. All right, we're here at the Cyber Academy of Laurel Mall, my friends. We'll be talking to Kris Bonomo next, who is the principal here, so stay with us. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. This is the Hazleton Area School District Report. You know, we have a school district report, we have a Schuylkill report, and we have a Luzerne report. In addition to the mayor's report from Pottsville, also from Hazleton. All of the shows are on our website, ssptv.com. You can watch them as well as our YouTube channel. A lot of great information on what's happening in the different counties, and also particularly as we're here today at the Cyber Academy, the Laurel Mall, talking about what's happening in the school district. That's the whole purpose of this show. And once again, thank you for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in Northeastern Pennsylvania. I really appreciate that. Now joining us here is Kris Bonomo. Kris and I have something in common. We're both born and raised in Partysville. I'm very proud of that. And so I have to be especially nice to him. Brian, so. But this guy we have to be nice to. Kris, nice to see you.
Oh, nice to see you as well, Sam.
Mom's doing all right?
Mom's doing great.
She doesn't want to get old?
She doesn't want to get old and doesn't want to stop working.
I think she's a great person.
She really is.
Kris, how long have you been in the district?
This is the end of year 24, so 24 years. Started as an 8th grade. Actually, I started as a 1st grade teacher for my first year at West Hazleton. Did 20 years or so at Heights Terrace as an 8th grade social studies. Went into administration, vice principal at the high school for a year, supervisor curriculum for a year, and now this is my 2nd full year as the administrator of the cyber program.
Were you there when my sister-in-law was there at Heights, Mary Jean Reimal?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Great person.
Yeah, she loved the...
She was in kindergarten. She loved the little ones.
Yeah, she definitely did. Kris, tell me about, what your perspective is on the Cyber Academy. Just Brian gave us a general overview. Tell me what your thoughts are here.
Absolutely, Sam. I think during the COVID pandemic, we really learned that students, there needs to be an alternative education method used for certain students. And we realized that students can be taught virtually with a large amount of success. So I think we learned a lot from COVID. We grew a lot from COVID. Pre-COVID, our cyber, it was actually called the Hazleton Area Virtual Academy. It consisted of 70 students. It was a pre-canned curriculum, meaning the students logged on to a computer program, their lessons were there was no live instruction for these students. So we got together, brainstormed a little bit, and came up with what I believe is a wonderful program to serve our students. We now have 754 students.
You're kidding me.
754 and growing.
Wow.
Grades K through 12. We have special subjects, they have music, they have art, they have gym, just like they would in person.
What do they do at the gym?
Well, gym would be virtual, so our gym teacher is very active. He has an active space to, perform his calisthenics or exercises, and the students.
And hopefully the students are doing the same thing.
Absolutely, and their cameras are on, so he can see.
Oh, you can see. Okay, yeah.
and it's a great opportunity for them to get up, stretch, move around a little bit. As I said, 754 students, live instruction. So every day, all day long, they have a class period, just like they would, as Dr. Uplinger said, in person.
So I mentioned this to Brian. Some people feel that, you should go to a school. You should go and mingle with your friends. And, I mentioned about the social skills. What's your take on that?
We have various opportunities for students to socialize, and the old school mentality of every student learns in a brick and mortar school, that's out the window. We need to be open, we need to be innovative. This is the new way, this is the coming way of the future. As you see, colleges and universities have gone to it. Businesses have gone work from home. So we have the students come up here at least once a month.
That's another, yeah.
We have activities, we have Christmas activities, we have plays, we have arts and crafts, we have field trips. And as we see, going into our second year, these students are now forming bonds in their classroom with their teacher and with their peers, just like they would in person, because they've been with them. Now the kindergarten ones are in first grade for the second year with us. Everyone's moving through and forming a small cyber family. It's really, really awesome to see.
Are there any negatives that you see?
The only negatives I could see is the lack of socialization, but we have that covered. We have them in, we're active with them, we're monitoring them. We have them up here for events. So people, that's one negative that people point to all the time is that these students are in front of their computers all day, and that's not the case.
Okay. So walk me through, if I'm at home and my students or my son or daughter is on the computer and they're doing online teaching. Now, am I actually in the classroom where the teacher is and the other students are there?
Right, well you're in
or is it one-on-one with the teacher?
No, you're in a virtual classroom, so the other students are there. You can see your teacher. Your teacher is teaching live with the video on them. Now the teacher can also see the students. So on the right side...
Now, are all these students there, or are they also all on the virtual...
They're all on computers, so they're all there. They're present.
No physical people there?
No.
Okay.
Except for the teacher, obviously.
Okay, yeah. So it's all virtual?
Correct.
Wow.
And if you were going with the typical day, if you'd like to know the typical day, and that would vary from elementary to middle school, but say a middle school student, it would be just like they would go in person. They'd have their 6 classes, they'd start at 9 a.m., they'd have their first period class, they go second period, third period, they have their lunch break, and then they finish the afternoon with their 5th, 6th, and 7th periods.
That's unbelievable.
It's really been a great success.
So all the kids, it's like everyone is on the computer in the morning. It's a whole class.
Correct.
Now, could they see other kids?
They can.
Is that right?
They can, and they can communicate with each other. There's a chat feature. Obviously, their microphones are live. It's really been a wonderful experience.
So if mommy's yelling at Jimmy when he's on the phone, you can, on the computer, you can...
And that's a great option we have is the teacher can just mute that student, and we won't have to do anything.
I told you to clean the room, and you think, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were wrong.
And we do run into that. I mean, life happens.
Oh, sure,
These students are learning in the best environment for them at home.
Right.
And sometimes it is the kitchen where mom may be doing dishes behind her. And that's just part of the game, and we've found ways to overcome that.
You just said something that I think is critical. You said the best environment. And as you mentioned, Brian, sometimes a student is not feel that comfortable in an environment in the classroom, but yet they'll excel at home on a computer. Am I correct in saying?
Absolutely, and it goes back to the traditional learning style and being open to these students who not everyone learns, in a brick and mortar school. Some students excel virtually, and we have high school kids that support their families who work at Amazon, first shift at Amazon, complete their schoolwork at night. Because all our lessons are recorded as well. Now on the elementary grades, we encourage live attendance, but high school students, and well as everyone, have the option of watching the recording later that day. So Mrs. Tedesco may be teaching 6th grade, that's recorded for that student to watch at a later date if need be.
Wow, wow. I can imagine if you take a student who is, have some difficulty in their home, starting off and beginning to get acclimated to the other students, beginning to start feeling, I could see a world of a difference, Brian, now that I'm seeing how this whole thing works,
It sure is, Sam, and the funny part about that is seeing some of the people that walk the mall, and some of them are your age, very young.
52 years old.
Exactly. And they're curious. So they're our taxpayers. I take them through, I show them, I explain the process, and by the time they make their loop around and walk out, they have a smile ear to ear, and they said, well, I really get it. I understand.
Yeah.
And these are people that did not grow up with computers. It's
that's where I mentioned to Brian. I mean, we didn't grow up with the computers. We felt you go to high school, you go to school. Of course, I went to Mother Grace, and so you've made friends. You're in the physical part. But there were some students who were shy, some students who did not have the opportunity of really mixing with other students. This is a perfect example of that. Plus, now Brian mentioned about saving money with the charter school.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the state of art. I don't know how much more advanced you could get. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'll tell you what. The first year, which we're in our second year now. Our first year, we've already paid off what construction was in our savings. So what it cost to build this has already been paid off by the students that we got back from outside cyber schools. So we started with 500 students in outside cyber schools. We've already gotten 100 of them back, so we're down into the low 400s. And we just had a mailing campaign where we sent out brochures to the 200 families that are in outside cybers to offer them a chance to see our cyber school. Come up for a tour, speak with me, and see what we have to offer, because it's local and it's Hazleton area teachers. So I think they'd be more than impressed if we could get them through the door.
We have great teachers. They're dedicated. And I wouldn't want to be a teacher today because of the challenges that they have. God bless them. We have a very strong, excellent school board. They mean business. They're transparent. There's no hanky-pankies going on. You're blessed, Brian, to have us.
Absolutely, yeah. You nailed it. I've never worked with a better board since I've been in other districts, obviously. But this, by far, the 7 years that I've been here, going on 8 now, I've had great school boards, great administrators. I've never had a better team that I've been able to work with. Yeah, I love it here.
Goes to show you how much can be accomplished when you take all the political nonsense out of education and just go in there and do what you have to do, and that's what this board is doing. Kris, I think getting a feel for this place and the fact that you already said the taxpayers got their money back, right? Okay.
Which will compound over the years too, Sam. Yeah. So we plan on saving every year.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. What else would you like to say about the Cyber Academy?
I would just like to thank the Sam Lesante Show for coming here and choosing this location. We've been blessed by, as Dr. Uplinger said, a wonderful school board that supports us in this endeavor, because if they didn't believe in it, this cyber school wouldn't be here right now. And I'm just thankful for the people of Hazleton to believing in the program and the 754 students and counting that we have in our cyber academy.
I think it's incredible. Brian, you mentioned, again, just a thought came to my head when I saw Mahalchik here. Bob is the assistant superintendent of what division?
Student services. Okay. So there's a lot that is encompassed there. It's basically special education, a lot of special education, but also cyber, also student registration, child accounting. Those kind of fall under his umbrella.
Okay, and so you have another assistant superintendent?
Correct. I have 2 others, so I have a total of 3.
Okay, so tell me what they do.
Sure. We have Danny Rogers. He is assistant to the superintendent for human resources, so hiring, meetings with our healthcare provider, things of that nature. And then we have Dr. Pat Patty. He is assistant to the superintendent for curriculum, instruction, and assessment, and that's all the PSSA and the Keystone and the curriculum that needs to be updated every 5 years and things of that nature. But we're so large
Is that why you
we
need it?
need those people in those spots. One person can't do
Because
all of that.
one person up here at the mall says, well, what the hell does the superintendent do?
Right.
If he has 3 assistant superintendents, so what
A
the hell
lot.
does it?
A lot. I have to watch over those 3.
That's a lot. Well, thanks again for participating, and Kris, is nice seeing you.
And
okay,
thanks for
really
having
is.
us, Sam.
Give the best to your family.
Will
Okay,
do.
great family. My friends, the whole purpose of the show is a school district report. Now, people have been asking me questions. My email is sam@ssptv.com. Believe me, ask me any question. Brian's open; he'll answer any question. Where are we going next? Do we have any?
We have a lot of different options.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about our JROTC program, our Arts and Humanities Academy, our STEM program. So we have a lot to
Otherwise,
lot to
nothing's happening
lot
in
to
the
cover.
school. Nothing's happening. in
Nothing
school.
at all.
Okay. Once again, you have any questions, sam@ssptv.com. We'll see you next time.